Hello! In the last tutorial we got our dragon character to move up and down and shoot fireballs, and we got our demon to move up and down. In part 2 of the Evil Clutches tutorial we're going to get our demon to spawn, well, I'll get the boss to spawn demons which are going to hit our character, and we're going to randomly also spawn the dragon babies which we have to rescue. We're also going to pop in a nice background, and we're going to pop in some sounds as well. So it's going to be more or less a fully fledged game, and also going to pop in a nice scoreboard as well. So there's quite a few elements we've still got to add to this, but it should be relatively quick, and you can see how simple it is using Game Maker. So close that down. Remember to always close it down because these two will be grayed out, which means you can't play if it's already playing. So remember to close it. Right, so getting right into it, we're going to bring in the demon object. So we're going to go to Resources, Create Sprite. Just move this up a bit so you can see. So we've got sprite underscore demon. Load sprite, making sure remove background is ticked. Click on demon. There he is, he's just wiggling around there. Kind of weird. So open, there he is. Click OK. And what we'll do as well to save a bit of time, Resources, Create Sprite, and we're going to bring in the baby as well. So, baby. We're going to load in the little bit, not the evil baby. That's for later on if you want to create a baby that is evil and will kill you. So there we go, the nice baby, and make sure background is unticked. There we go. So there's a nice baby. So those are the two we want right now. Next we're going to create our demon and get him to set up his movement. So go Resources, Create Object, to set him as an object, very much like we did with the others before. So we go underscore demon. I know some people are wondering, please can you just give me the sprites and the grid, the file and everything? No, because these are not my sprites. You have to purchase the Game Maker Apprentice book to get that, so I cannot give these away for free. So there we go. I don't want to get in trouble or anything, have people after me, no good. So yeah. So you got your object demon. We're going to load in the sprite. Remember, he needs a sprite, so sprite demon there for our object demon. So now what we've got to do, when very much like the fireball, when he's created, so hit create, because the boss is the one that's going to trigger the demon and release him, but when it's created by the boss, he's got to move. Now this time it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to bring in, you guessed it, a fixed movement. Now usually we did one direction. This time I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to select all three from the left hand side. So all those. And we'll get his movement. He's not going to be too fast. We're going to set him to 12. And yes, that's pretty much it. So there we go. So make sure all those three are ticked on the left hand side. Click OK. Don't need to click relevant. That's not needed. Now, slightly different to what we've done before. We usually just had the one item, but we're going to do something a little different when it intersects the boundary. So, add event, other, intersect boundary, very much like we did with the boss one. So when he hits the top or the bottom, he's going to bounce. So change vertical speed. Okay. This time we're going to do something different, not quite yet. We're going to add in another event where it hits the outside of the room, very much like the fireball. So outside room, we're going to need to destroy itself. Oop, it's not in the move section. We've got to move to the main one and hit this icon to self. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very similar if you follow the previous tutorial, which is going to be linked down at the bottom. You got these. Now, when we create our boss, we can't get it to automatically create the demons when we click it. We've got to give it artificial intelligence. So it spawns them at random. So this is where it gets a little bit different and a little bit tricky, but it's really not too bad. So now we click OK. And we're going to double click on our boss. I know I'm skipping a few things in the book if you are following the book, but do not worry, I'll be coming to them shortly. So, with our boss, now this is how you load it. You don't have to do this bit, but I'm just going to show you as reference. If we open up the room and we look at the settings, we can see that the speed, so you can think of it as frames per second in animation terms, is going at 30. Okay, so we need to kind of know this for this next bit. So when the game's running, so for 1 second's worth, we've got 30 steps. Okay, so bear that in mind. So we're going to be using step. We've got step, begin step, end step. We want to step. So these steps are taken, so we need 30 steps for 1 second's worth. So here's where it gets slightly different. We're going to go into the control tab. And we've got what was called questions. So we're questioning things. We need this little weird dice icon, which is test chance. So we bring that into there. Think of it very much like you're rolling a normal dice, a 6-sided dice. You've got 1 out of every 6 chance of getting 6. This time, but imagine you've got a much bigger dice. So here, I've got a dice that is going to be 50-sided. So I've got 1 out of 50 chance of throwing or activating this demon. So just put 50 in there and click OK. So we said 1 out of 50. 1 out of 50 what? What's happening? What are we doing? We need to give it something else now. So we go into the main 1 tab at here, and we're going to pull in the create icon. We've got to tell it, what to create after this chance. Once it's got to activated that 1 out of 50 chance, it's rolled that 1 out of 50, it's got to do the following. So you can have a load of actions listed in here. You can have as many as you want, but it can get a bit complicated, so it's good to plan. So it applies yes to self. It's going to spawn the demon. So there is dragon, that demon at the bottom. And this time I'm going to cheat a little bit. We're not going to have X and Y because we don't really care. It's spawning demons. It's going to attack us. We don't care where it's coming from. And very much like we did with the fireball, click relative. Make sure that is ticked, so relative to the boss's position. So there we go. Okay, let's give this a nice little test run. But before we do that, remember to save. You can do that file, save, or you can click on the little save icon there, or you can press Control and S. That much you can do with Windows. So let's give this a test run. One of us is going to go fast. Yep, it is. It's going much faster. Lovely. And there we go. So there's a demon. But problem, they're not doing anything to me. I'm okay, and yeah, they're just going through me. They're just bouncing, and that 50 is quite a high number. Okay, that's really not helping. Okay, so I need to be able to destroy these, and these things need to be able to kill me. That could be a problem, so okay. So now that's when we're going to go back and add in all those other elements. And you probably hear a dog barking. So what we're going to do next, we're going to get the demon object to collide with a fireball. So we're going to reopen the demon object. Just pop it there for you all to see. And we're quickly going to add in a collision event. Add event, and we've got collision right here, and we can select it with any of our other objects. So I'm going to create fireball, so it collides with the fireball, and very simply it's going to destroy itself. So there we go, destroy instance. Just drag that in. Okay, you don't need to do any settings, it's going to destroy itself. That's pretty much it. And also we want to add a bit of a score in here. We want to give ourselves a score and reward ourselves for killing the demon. So always good to have a reward system in there. So we're going to go click on control. Oh no, sorry, score underneath. My bad. And we want the first one, which is set a score. We've got this one over here, test a score and draw a score. We don't need any of these at the moment, so drag this in here. We've got the score, and you know what, I'm going to be greedy, I'm going to set myself a score of 100. And make sure relevance is ticked, because what it does, it'll add 100 to the number we have already, because this is ticked. If you didn't have it ticked, you would just have 100, 100, 100. It won't increase inside your score. So that's pretty cool. So there we go. And what we also want to do is set a collision for when we hit our dragon. Now, in the sample you saw, there was a health bar, but that should be saved for a bit later on. We're doing health bars and all that. So we're going to just get it to destroy our dragon straight away. Make it a bit more challenging. So add an event, collision again, this time with the dragon. Right, the book, that if you're following the book or following the Game Maker Press tutorial, it asks you to put in, show the high score table. Guess what, we don't have one anymore, not in Studio. They've decided that that function is obsolete. So you'd have to draw one using code, which is a bit of a pain really, to be honest. So what we're going to do, we are going to just, when we get hit by the dragon, we're going to set our score back to 0. So new score, I'm just going to set it back to 0, untick relevant. And we are also going to restart the game. Now this is going to be a bit of a pain not to show the high score, and it's something I'm going to be delving into a bit later on, but you might have to draw the score in by code. I might do a separate tutorial on how exactly to do that later. So I'm a bit annoyed with Game Maker Studio. I think that's the one gripe I have with Studio, that it doesn't allow you to draw the score in. Really annoying. But we're going to go to, where is it, main 2, and we should have what's called the restart game function. So we're going to put that in. We're going to restart the game when we get hit by, when the demon hits our dragon. So hopefully that's all we got to do for that. So click OK. I am going to save. So remember the save icon, or file, save as, or press Ctrl and S. They all do the same thing. So I'm going to play this and just see how we get along. Oh, gotta use my up and down, gotta be prepared this time. Oh, I shoot the demon. Okay. Now, in the previous versions, you had the score appearing at the top, but we don't have a score. So I'm gonna have to pop that right in there. Okay, I'm gonna let myself get hit. Bow, it starts, restarts again. So, yeah, I'm going to stop the game. Right, to counter this, we're going to do something a little bit more advanced. I didn't want to show this in the first video, but I think it'd be really relevant because of the new changes. The tutorial, if you're reading from the book, that's Game Maker Press book, it's using, I believe, version 6. If you're using 8, it'll still work, but if you're using Studio, it's a bit annoying. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to create an object that simply puts a score into place, and I apologize for the rain outside. It's really, the heavens have just opened and it's just pelting it down out there, so, and that's going to be picked up on the mic. So what we're going to be doing, we are going to create a new object, and what we're going to do is object, we're not going to give it a sprite. I don't want it to appear on the scene, I just want it to do something. You can do this. So this is going to be called object underscore controller. Okay. And what we're going to do what's called drawing, which actually draws in a box or an object or a variable. So we wanted to draw in our score. So I'm going to click draw, draw. So there it goes, it's just going to draw a score in. If we go down to the draw tab, first to start off, since we've got quite a light background until we put our background image in, I'm going to set a color. I'm going to make it, click on the drop down and make it black. Click OK, and there we go, color OK. You can set to whatever color you want, but I'm just going to stick to black. And if we go on to score, we have these score tabs here. We've got draw score, so I'm just going to drag that into there. And I'm going to simply, let's see, X I'm happy with, I'm going to change the Y to 10, leave relative off. I've just relevant to the stage, so we're going to leave that off and click OK. And we're going to click OK here. And then I'm going to go into the room. And we've got objects. Let's have a look. We've got... Yep, object controller selected there. If you want to change it, you can always do the drop down, but we want the object controller. And we click and drag. We get this really weird little question mark icon here. That's saying, hang on, you've not got a sprite to this. For what we're doing, this is perfectly fine. I'm okay with not having a sprite in there. So I'm going to click OK. And we're going to test this out. Yeah, you can probably hear dogs in the background there. Unfortunately, yes, I do live. And you can see right there, we've got score. And there we go, it's adding. That is fantastic. So every time we kill these, I can add to my score. I say controllers, these are things that are not covered in the Game Maker's Apprentice. This is just a little something I added in there. There we go. Just avoid. No, I couldn't avoid it. My dragon is too long and lanky. Yeah, I can go off screen. You can cheat. You can go off screen and never get hit. Whoa, that's a big lot there. Okay. Okay. It's kind of good to have that cheat in there. I can shoot. Oh dear. So yeah, as I said in another tutorial, I'm going to probably just look into how we can set up our score table, but we're going to have to do it the long way, which is a bit annoying. We're probably going to have to set up variables, so yeah, can be complicated, but it's not impossible, just annoying. So yeah, we're going to stop that now. We've got a score in there. That's the main thing, so it makes the game a bit nicer to play with. So now we're going to be adding the baby object at last. So we're going to go to resources, create object, and this one will be the baby. So object underscore baby. We want the baby sprite. There he is. So what we're going to be doing is when he's created, he's going to move forward. So add event, create, and bring in fixed movement. And I'm going to make this not too easy. I'm going to make him 8. He's going to go with a speed of 8. That's going to be fun. And of course, like we've done before, we want it to, when he goes outside the room, to destroy himself, because we don't want the game to lag. So we go add event, other, outside room, main 1 tab here, and bring in the recycle bin. And yes to self, click OK. And now what we're going to be adding a collision event. So we don't want to be able to shoot the babies. We want to be punished for that. So we're going to add event, collision with the fireball. And what we're going to do, we're going to destroy itself. Yep, the baby's going to destroy itself. And also we're going to have a penalty that it's going to minus some points. So we're going to be, let's see, score, where's score? There's score. Let's be really, really, really mean with ourselves, and we're going to do minus 300. Relevant. Make sure those settings are ticked like I got here. So minus 300, relevant. I'm going to be really, really harsh on myself. But of course we want to reward ourselves for whenever we get the baby. So we're going to add another event, collision with the dragon. So when the baby reaches its mama dragon or papa dragon, whatever gender you want to think of dragons, object dragon, and we want it first of all to destroy itself, because we want the baby to disappear. We don't want babies floating around on our dragon, so click OK. And we want it to destroy itself, and then going to the score tab here, we want it to add a score. I'm going to really reward myself, set it to 500 whenever I get a baby. Relevant. Click OK. So there we are, but we've got a little problem. We want it to be spawned by the boss. The boss randomly spawns the babies. So we've got the baby all set up. When he's created, he moves. When he collides with the dragon, it's destroyed, but we get a score of 500. If it's with a fireball, it destroys itself, but we get minus 300 points. It's going to take 300 from us. When it hits outside the room, it just destroys itself. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So there's our baby set up. So now we've got to get the boss to, you know, send the bait to let loose the baby. So double click on the boss. And again, we're going to go into the steps. We've already got it created. So here we go. We've got 1 out of 50 chance of it spawning a demon. We can add to this. I'm going to go to Control here. And we are going to get it to do a test chance. So drag that into there. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be setting the chance to be 100. We don't want it to constantly spawn lots of babies. So 100, unlike the demon, which is 50, we've got 100. Back onto the main one tab, we wanted to create the baby. Self, object, where is the baby? Baby, and make sure relevant is ticked. That's it, that's all you got to do. So let's have a look and test this all out. Remember to always tick, make sure your space is nice and clean. And remember to file, save your game. It's also good to save in stages when you're developing a game and testing it out, but because I know this is going to work, I can just save it to the one file. So there we go. Oh dear, these demons are... Okay, here comes the baby. 1,000 points. Demons. Now if I shoot the baby, yep, I'm shooting babies. Oh, I minus my points. Shoot the baby. Yes, I lose points. There we go. Lots of no. You can see I'm into my games. I shot a baby. No, I don't want to shoot any more babies. Stop. No. So yeah, you can really... look, I'm minus 200. There we go. So yeah, you can really just enjoy the game as it is, but we want to make it look prettier. And we can. We've got the resources from the Game Maker's Apprentice book, which you need to purchase. So we're going to be adding a background to this. So very simply, go to your resources, create background. And I'm just going to set this as background underscore cave, because that's what it is. It's a cave. And we're going to load background. And here is the bitmap. We don't need to remove background or anything like that. Just click open. And here's our cave. That looks pretty cool. So click OK, and that's all we need to do. So there's our background. If we go into the room, move this around a bit, we can go into background tab here. How handy is that? So I'm going to scroll down, and here we go. Hopefully you've got a bigger area to work with. Unfortunately, I've got to scroll a little bit, so there we go. And here we've got background. So now I'm going to click on the drop down, select the cave, bang! There it is, and it circles the room beautifully. Why? Because of the sizes. If you ever did want to change the size of your room, you would have to go to settings, and here we go, height and width. At the moment, mine by default is set to 640, width and height of 480. But I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to click OK. And I always like sounds. Sounds are really great when you're creating your game. It adds more depth to it. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we can do any of that, we've got to add them all in. So we've got to pop over to resources. And there should be create sound, second one. And it's asking us what kind of sounds we want to create. Well, first of all, I want the basic background music, so sound underscore music. And we are just simply going to look at these settings here. I'm going to set it as background music. And you can also have what kind of bit rate quality, etc., volume. You can control all that. So we're going to load the sound, so load it. And we've got music by Jacob Abgood. Open that up, and I actually got to put my headphones back on and just have a quick listen to this, so that's a good listen. Okay, it's taking a while You can see it's having a bit of a hissy fit, probably because I'm recording as well, so. There we go, so, oh, let's change that again, so, music, yep, it's playing it. So, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to unplug my headphones, hopefully it won't be too loud. So, let's try this, so. There you go, that's the music we will be playing, so yeah, click OK, I'm happy with that. And now we just got to bring in the other sound effects, so we're going to quickly do that now. So I'm going to click on the sound icon here. You can go to resources, create sound there, it does the same thing, but I'm just being quick about it. So we're going to bring in the, let's see, let's load the sound. We've got baby sound, so open that, and I'm going to go sound underscore baby, and let's have a little play of this. Take a moment to load it. It will do this sometimes, can be a bit annoying. Okay, stop it. It's only supposed to play it once, so yeah. The sound. So okay. And very quickly I'm gonna bring in the final one, which is the demon sound. Oh, that's wrong. Demon. Okay, it's normal this time. There it's the baby, so there we go, you can see we've got those different ones there. So now what we've got to do, we've got to set up the sound to actually play. So we're going to be doing that by attaching it to an item. So we're going to be doing it, so let's have a look. We've got the dragon, it moves up and down. We've got the boss. Let's have a look at the boss. The boss has already got a create event. We can sneakily attach the play sound to this. So if we go over to, where are we? Main 2? No, main 1. Ah, here we go. Main 1 has sounds. So I could bring in the first item, which is play sound. So I can set it to the background music. I want it to be on a loop. So there we go. It's going to be looping. Okay. And another thing I want to do as well, whenever we accidentally hit the babies or hit the demons, we want it to create those sounds. So I'm going to click on, have a look at Fireball. Nope, that's not the one. My apologies. I believe it's the demon. Here we go. So when the demon collides with the fireball, we want it to play its sound. So we go to the main 1 tab, bring in the first sound, play sound. It's going to be a demon sound. We don't want it to loop, so I'm going to click it on false. It just plays it once. So click OK. And very quickly, click OK. And on the baby, whenever it gets hit by the fireball, we want it to do the sound, because that's sad. So click on the object, main 1 tab, bring in the sound, and we've got baby. We don't want it to loop, so we click OK. And there you go, that should be it. So we're going to save what we've done. Always remember to save. Oh, another thing I just remembered, the background may be a bit darker. So what I'm going to do is in the controller, before we do anything else, I'm going to change the color of my score to something a bit lighter. So I'm going to go white this time. Oh, okay, okay. There we go, that's not in the book, that's something you have to do. Save again and play the game. That should hopefully be it. That's the whole game. Any moment now. I'm at the ready with my space bar and arrow keys. Okay, you can see now it's doing a bit more. It's converting the sounds. So it's having a little bit of trouble there. So the sounds will be playing. I just hope they're not picking up too loudly on the mic. There we go. It's doing lots of things. Ah. There you go. Shot. Oh, baby. Yay! Ah, no, I shot babies. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I died. Ah, there we go. So, I died again. Not there we go. And that's it. That's how you created your first game. There's probably things you'd love to do with it. You can add to it. Probably later on you can add a health bar, which I can discuss in later little mini tutorials. Ah, I'm being hit by so many demons. There's other things you could do with, like, sorry, I'm trying to play and talk at the same time. There's other things you could do, such as set a limit to how many objects could be in the same room and things like that, but that's going to be in later tutorials, so thank you for watching and enjoy.